Welcome to Indie Game Month Day 20. Today we are going to create the Goo Balls from World of Goo. It's getting pretty far into the month now, but we still have 8 more creations after this one. This clay figure ended up being like a crazy science experiment, and I love it. It was slightly frustrating, but it ended up working out really good, and I'm super happy with how it looks. I'm chopping this worm into a bunch of little sections so we can roll it into balls for the Goo Balls. Now in this game, you build up these structures with these Goo Balls, and it's sort of like building bridges or towers. So I kind of went for a mixture of that, mixed with some type of molecule project you would do in school. I cut these toothpicks to be shorter lengths because they were just a little bit too long how they were. Now I just sort of started randomly placing these toothpicks and balls together to kind of just see what it would look like. I didn't have any plan or reference in mind of what I was gonna make this look like, because I thought it would kind of just look cool no matter what I did. And I think I was right. At least to me, it looks really cool. Now that we have everything together, before baking it, I want to take a picture of it, so I can remember exactly what it looks like, and hopefully I'll be able to piece it back together this way. I wasn't able to bake it as is because it would have just fallen apart in the oven. The clay gets very soft and fragile in the oven. So now we are ready to get baked. After baking, I'm not sure why this is, but the black clay got very dirty and covered in white specks. Luckily, we can just use some black paint to touch that up after we get it all together. I started by securing the sticks back into the different Goo Balls, and I used the picture as a reference to try to figure out how this goes back together. I initially thought this was going to be really easy to solve, but it's one of the hardest puzzles I've ever done. Eventually, I just gave up on this and decided to piece it together however I could, and I could fill in the holes with some clay after and maybe add in some new sticks if I needed to. As you can see, some of these don't really line up and we have some extra holes. We also need to make some extra holes to give it some more support. Since I already used all of the super glue, I didn't want to put this back into the oven because I feel like it would really weaken the super glue, and instead I'm going to be using some Milliput. This is a 2-part putty. Once you mix these 2 sections together, it activates it, and you have about 30 minutes to work with it before it's too firm to really use. After about 4 hours, it turns solid as a rock. So I started by sealing up all of the holes, and I also thought it would help make it look a bit better if I sealed off the stick to the ball. I think this also helps to kind of sell the idea that these are all slimed together. Let's break out the painting mat and the black paint, and we can start covering the entire thing. What I love about black paint is that it usually only takes 1 coat to cover whatever you're trying to cover. With other colors like white, sometimes you have to do 3 or 4 coats, and that gets pretty annoying. After we have every little inch of this covered in black paint, we can work on creating the eyes. Since I'm going to bake these eyes separate and glue them on, I decided to make it on this ball, which is about the same size as most of the Goo Balls. This way it will still have the rounded edge on the back and will go straight onto the ball very smoothly. In the center of all these eyes we have some black dots. And I purposely made all these eyes different sizes and sort of weird shapes, because that's the art style they use in the game, and I really like when characters have these weird uneven eyes. I'm using super glue to attach these eyes onto the balls, and it actually worked out really well that I have the curve in the eyes from using the ball tool. we have this little guy in the back, and well, here it is, the world of goo. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. This was a pretty fun new experience and it worked out really well. Make sure to check out the playlist at the end, which is updated every day with a new indie game character. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.